This is going to be a really short lesson, but it's basically a deeper syllable view, something that most people don't really understand. This is part two, basically, of the last thing that I just put up about the fading out, and when you're speaking and you don't say anything, and then that's the language. So, but this is real easy. It's basically, I'm going to go by the, I guess I could make this even more parts, but I'm going to go ahead and just do what I did last time. This says Mountain Dew. And you know that Mountain Dew is, Mountain Dew is, Mountain Dew is 3 syllables. Mountain Dew. Mountain and dew. All of those have to be those. Anything but fart bubbles when you're in the tub. So that you want to avoid. Okay, so Mountain Dew, given a longer amount of the bubbles that come up, or whatever it would be, it'd be Mountain Dew, and that could be could be Mountain Dew. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like that. And it's really long, and but it has to have some kind of swallow moment where when you speak, or it has to have like a feeding moment, when it's letting it fade out, kind of like give you what you want moment, So when you say Mountain Dew, it had to be like, if you want it to be 4, you have to put like an E on it to stretch it, Mountain Dew, or like whatever you want to put it as. It has to have some form of, it's a piece of food is what it is. And then another way to look at it is that Mountain Dew will also be shrunken into syllables in the fading out speech. When the speech is shrinking down, when the shrinking down is fading out, Mountain Dew would not be that would be Mindus, like Mountain Dew, or it could be Munda, or it could be even Mountain, could be Mountain Dew, if it holds it all in, But we're going to say Mindus is probably the most accurate, since we have Mountain Dew and then we have Mindus, and it's taking out one of the syllables. It's like having a vertebrae and then taking out one. It's like having, it's like being, 5 feet high, now we're 4. And we're just going to go ahead and say, it's like looking at something 10 feet away, now we're looking at it 30, and then it loses some of the pixels, And then we'll shrink even further to the 1 syllable. And it would have to be WN. Theoretically, it would have to be when you spell it. It couldn't really be because it will skip the fact that Mountain Dew is said if you say and it has to have the W. That's only 1 syllable, that's 1 syllable, one tiny little, so what we have to basically figure out is the 1 part. Say when you're passed out like this, you know, and they're like, what were you drinking? You're like, you know, mountain, you know, there's one, there's, you know, those little tiny mini syllables, you know, is basically what I'm trying to emphasize. And you know, all the way down, you know, once it hits this one syllable threshold point, you know, where one syllable's here, you know, it will break itself down, you know, and, you know, it will try to squeeze through this little machine right here where one droplet will go through it, you know, like, let's just say there's something there, you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain it, but it's almost like, okay, I said Mountain Dew and then I did some work and then I sweated one time. I thought about something else that had to do with the Mountain Dew, you know, to get me to say the Mountain Dew again, you know. That's like kind of like, you know, it's like it needs expression. I mean, once a word is sucked in that strong, you know, to where, you know, this Mountain Dew becomes Mindus, and then one, there is a threshold where one is as far as it can go. Past that, there needs to be a negative of it, you know, which would still be this, you know, but it would be the effect of what it is. You know, like Mountain Dew would be something to drink. So you'd be like, sure, you know, sure, you know, or something, or sure, you know, and then it would be, you know, STR, and then it could be like, you know, Stinder, like, you know, like, you know, like something to drink. And then the next one, you know, would be, you know, some drink, right? No, some of drink, you know, some drink. I'd probably say some, or some of drink, some of drink, you know, and that's three, you know, but, you know, Mountain Dew has to say like some drink is here, right? And then you can go down further and say something to drink, and, you know, that is basically, you know, getting a drink, you know, so Mountain Dew does mean something to drink, you know, technically for me, you know, even though it can be stretched further than that. Mountain Dew and something to drink is still the same word when you look at it on an even principle, because something to drink has something to drink, you know, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew, you know, is 4 syllables. So even though this one has 4 syllables, it still says something to drink. And to register that that's something to drink, there has to be an example attached to it, you know, such as, you know, the Mountain Dew, you know, which would be, I mean, that looks stupid, but I was trying to do it like, it's like 3 syllables, you know, kind of a, you know, a contrast, you know, something. But anyway, you know, so it would say Mountain Dew, but it has to be spoken towards a direction, you know, it has to be spoken towards the center, you know, for the face to be aligned properly. Otherwise, you know, you'll be like, you know, be choking and coughing, or you won't say the right thing, and you'll be talking about something else and can't speak correctly about it. So you have to have something like Mountain Dew. That way it's Mountain Dew. Even though it's something to drink, and that's three words, and that's three syllables, but two words, and two and three, it's kind of like a pyramid, it sits on top of each other, and there has, in a pyramid, it has that kind of four-y thing, it would keep stacking like that, by one. And that's how you kind of have to look at that form of math when you look at your speech. And, you can put anything in there like that, and it has to have those basic ground rules, to where, there's this math here where these things hold up, like that. And then there always has to be another one running alongside it, that makes it the same, and slightly different. And from the distance, there's a sucking area that goes right here, syllable. This could be your sun right here, like the, and like it's looking at the sun, the sun is just a light point, it's pretty easy to recognize it, and the sun does suck a little bit, I think. But anyway, when the one and the two other words, comes around in this little circle right here, it does kind of generate a momentum, and these two words have to be on each side of this diagram, like when you see it in your head, and when this sucks it in, this will be the space where there is no word, but it has to have the sucking on this side, and it has to have the sucking on this side, to get both of those words in there, and it can't be Mountain Dew on both sides, because there has to be a metaphor, and that's the only way that you'll be able to keep your principal form, which I think needs to be taught. And, I don't understand why I couldn't get, some kind of college degree teaching this stuff, because this is really good, but from a distance, when you watch someone who says, like, you need something to drink, and they said STR, and they said this one, you have to be able to know, and you have to announce, and using this science, you will know that Mountain Dew, is Mountain Dew, but if you said Mountain Dew again, someone thinks it's something else, not sex, but maybe, it could be if an emergency it was, yeah. Mountain Dew is Mountain Dew, and then, but there has to be something that it translates to, because there has a reason it's called Mountain Dew. There has to be a story on the other side of it, sucking in that direction to explain that, and otherwise those two words will fall. They both have to have, stick to the wall on both sides like magnets. They have to, not like magnets, but like suction, has to be that has to be able to, go all the way to the one, on the piece of a syllable. It's more like it's like half a syllable really, because there's no vowels in it, I guess, or no consonant vowel, thing. And but in order for these two words to stick, also, once you get that far out, kissing has to happen, and that will happen. You will, when you say one, and when you say something to drink, you will not say, you say, on the one side and on the something to drink side, but on that side, it will say, something to drink, it would be the part where you are like, either your neck's hurting a little bit, or it just kind of chokes up, and it kind of goes like that, or kind of the crying voice, is another one, and so Mountain Dew, this, and then something to drink, and then this, and then, is really small, and that's the pushing part, that's the blow, like when, there's the blow and the suck, and the one is also a blow, on the other side of it, so it could like, key, like key, one, and there's something to drink, also sucks and blows on both sides because it has to have a revolving motion, where, like something to drink, also unwinds and goes Mountain Dew, something to drink Mountain Dew, something to drink Mountain Dew, like that, something to drink Mountain Dew, so, what else is there about that? Yeah, and at that ground zero point, um, there's going to be a lot of involuntary movements that are going to be chokehold points. It's just like when you're in a fight and there's a submission, an actual submission, and during that time, I mean, to me, it's like having kissing, when you don't want to kiss somebody, but at the same time, there has to be a closed off, circulation, of that. And it'll be closed off on both sides, and you can kind of analyze the suction cup of it all.